A nurse walks into the NICU. She's tired, on autopilot. She picks up a vial, blue label, tiny font, same size as the other bottle next to it. She draws the medication and injects it into a newborn baby, but it's the wrong one. 1,000 times the intended dose. This isn't fiction. This is what happened to actor Dennis Quaid's newborn twins.
It was the scariest, most frightening day that I think either of us have ever been through. To come face to face with your little kids who so young in that kind of situation.
They lived. 3 other infants didn't. And the villain wasn't the nurse or the hospital. It was the label, the design.
Before we dive in, please quickly hit the like button and subscribe to our channel. Your support makes a difference, allowing us to keep bringing you fresh, exciting content. Plus, it helps our community grow. Thanks for being part of it.
We live inside a world of invisible design. You'll barely notice a pill bottle until you grab the wrong one. You won't think about a dashboard button until it distracts you at 70 miles per hour. You won't question a dresser until it falls on a child. Design isn't just about beauty or convenience. It's about life and death. Bad design doesn't just frustrate you, it kills you silently. Tiny vials of medicine, similar fonts, similar colors. Life-saving or life-ending depending on which one you grab. That's what happened with heparin, the Quaid twins case. And it wasn't just them. Other hospitals, other babies, same result. What changed? New font, bigger labels, color-coded caps. Design caught up to reality. What if medication labels were designed like street signs? Big, bold, readable from across the room. Could we cut fatal errors in half? Now imagine you're 70, your eyesight's fading. Your husband's pill bottle looks just like yours. It's a real story. It happened to Helen Adler. Her granddaughter Deborah Adler turned that moment into a revolution. She redesigned the prescription bottle. Giant name at the top, bold drug name, color-coded family bands, simple icons like a moon for bedtime or a sun for morning. Target adopted it. ClearRx. One of the most important bottle redesigns in retail history. Think of it as your medicine GPS. No guessing, just guidance. World War II, pilots kept crashing while landing their bombers. The planes were fine, the pilots were top tier. So what went wrong? They pulled the wrong lever. Instead of lowering the landing gear, they retracted the flaps, or vice versa. The levers were side by side, same shape, same size. Enter Alphonse Chapanis. He gave them shaped levers, wheel shape for gear, triangle for flaps. Crashes stopped instantly. One rubber shape on one metal lever saved more lives than a dozen training programs. This wasn't pilot error, it was a design error. Let's jump to your car. You're on the highway. Want to adjust the AC, but the button's buried in a touchscreen menu. You take your eyes off the road, 3 seconds. That's how long it takes to crash. Touchscreens aren't just frustrating, they're fatal. Designers are starting to bring back tactile buttons, physical dials, voice controls. We need fewer iPads and more volume knobs. Your child climbs on a dresser. A drawer opens, the whole thing tips forward. This happens more than you think. The IKEA Malm dresser was involved in at least 4 toddler deaths and dozens more injuries. The issue? Tall, narrow, lightweight. A physics failure disguised as furniture. What if every tall dresser came with a built-in anchor, or couldn't ship without one attached? IKEA eventually recalled 29 million units, but those units are still in homes, still tip-prone, still dangerous. We trust furniture because it looks safe, but gravity doesn't care how cheap your dresser was. Rhode Island, the station nightclub fire. Pyrotechnics, a stampede, 100 dead. But here's the kicker. 3 other exits were available. People just didn't see them. Why? Poor signage, inward swinging doors, no path lighting. It's like being in a maze. blindfolded with smoke filling your lungs. Today's codes require glowing pictograms, unblocked exit paths, doors that swing outward. Design saves lives. 3 Mile Island, 1979. A stuck valve, a misleading light, a nuclear meltdown. The operators thought the valve was closed because a light turned off, but the light was only indicating power, not valve status. This wasn't mechanical failure, it was an interface failure. Afterward, nuclear plants overhauled. Alarm systems, indicator designs, operator training. What if the light had said valve open instead of just turning off? Sometimes, one word can stop a disaster. In the early 2000s, a GM ignition switch had a flaw. A keychain swinging too hard could turn your car off. That would kill the power steering, disable the brakes, shut off the airbags, and it did. 124 people died. The fix? A stronger spring. Cost? About $1 per car. $1 per car. That's what GM saved. That's what 124 people paid for, with their lives. After the scandal, GM recalled over 2.6 million cars. It shouldn't have taken death to design better. Let's talk about the things that keep you alive without you knowing it. Garage doors that reverse when they detect motion. Clutch pedals that stop your car from lurching. Child-proof caps that frustrate adults but save children. These are examples of forcing functions. Poka-yoke, mistake-proofing. They assume you will mess up and make that mistake impossible. It's like training wheels, built into the world. Design that expects failure is the only design that never fails. You're alive because of a good design you didn't notice. The bottle you didn't confuse, the plane that didn't crash, the dresser that stayed upright, the dashboard that didn't distract you. Good design isn't flashy. It's quiet, it's boring, it's invisible, but it works and it saves lives. When you blame a person for a fatal mistake, ask, was it really their error, or did design fail them first? If this video made you rethink the everyday objects in your life, hit like. Drop a comment. What's one design you love or hate? Thanks for watching.